Here's a comprehensive overview of Sergey Yevgenyevich Naryshkin, one of Russia's most influential political and intelligence figures. Here's a detailed look at Sergey Yevgenyevich Naryshkin's early life and education. Birth and family background. Birth. Full name: Sergey Yevgenyevich Naryshkin. Date of birth: October 27, 1954. Place of birth: Leningrad, Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, now St. Petersburg, Russia. Family background. Father: Yevgeny Mikhailovich Naryshkin. Little is publicly documented about his occupation. Presumed to be a Soviet-era employee, possibly linked to industrial or scientific sectors. Mother: Zoya Nikolaevna Naryshkin. Also of limited public record. Described as a homemaker, or possibly a clerk or teacher, recollections suggest she raised Sergey with a strong emphasis on discipline and diligence. Ancestral lineage. The surname Naryshkin is historically tied to Russian nobility, most famously. Natalia Naryshkina, the mother of Peter the Great, was part of the noble Naryshkin family. Sergey Naryshkin, however, has never publicly claimed descent from the royal line. Some analysts speculate that his family may share distant roots with the noble Naryshkins, but there is no documented genealogical proof. During the Soviet era, nobility was often a taboo topic, so such connections, real or rumored, were typically downplayed. Early personality and upbringing. Raised in a working-class district of Leningrad during the Khrushchev and Brezhnev periods. Reputed to be a serious, disciplined child, yet sociable and intelligent. Grew up in the shadow of the Cold War, surrounded by Soviet, patriotic, and ideological education. Demonstrated early aptitude in academics, leadership, and foreign languages skills that would later be crucial in his intelligence career. Sergey Naryshkin, school and childhood. Early environment. Place: raised Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, a major Soviet city and cultural hub. Grew up in a relatively modest Soviet middle-class family, surrounded by Cold War-era politics, propaganda, and state schooling. Like many future members of the Russian elite, he was educated under a system that emphasized discipline, technical proficiency, and loyalty to the state, primary and secondary education. Graduated from a specialized aesthetic and arts-focused secondary school in Leningrad in 1972. The school reportedly emphasized both humanities and the sciences, including foreign languages and music. He graduated with honors, reflecting both strong academic ability and commitment. Academic and personal interests: academically gifted, strong in math, science, and particularly language studies, especially French, known for being disciplined and quiet, yet not aloof, highly sociable, and showed leadership qualities from a young age. Responsible and mature. A model Soviet youth by some teacher accounts. Participated in Komsomol, communist youth organization, which promoted ideological education and leadership. Extracurricular activities: played the guitar and was known to enjoy music and arts in his youth. Enthusiastic in sports, including swimming, a hobby he has retained into adulthood. Took part in student work brigades, a common Soviet initiative to promote labor education, often in leadership positions. Early signs of future path. Already as a teenager, Naryshkin stood out for his ability to organize, multilingual talents, and strict discipline. These traits, combined with his loyalty to state structures like the Komsomol and his technical background, likely made him a strong candidate for later recruitment into elite Soviet institutions, including the KGB. Sergey Naryshkin, higher education, engineering: Leningrad Mechanical Institute, Vonmich Institution, Leningrad Mechanical Institute, now Baltic State Technical University, Vonmich faculty, radiomechanical engineers. Attended 1972 to 1978 degree, specialist degree in radio engineering focused on defense, aerospace, and electronic systems. Academic focus: the Leningrad Mechanical Institute was known for preparing engineers for the Soviet defense and space industries, often working on missile systems, radar, avionics, and satellite communications. Naryshkin's academic track would have included electronics, communications, and signal processing, applied physics, military industrial technologies. In student, political, and social life, elected first secretary of the Komsomol committee at the institutes. This role involved supervising ideological training, student labor activities, and public events. Demonstrated early signs of organizational ability and political loyalty. Led student construction brigades, summer labor deployments, a prestigious Komsomol activity. Soviet Youth Sorted, the Young Guard of the 5-year plan, Baja Soviet, honor for youth labor contributions and ideological commitment. Graduated in 1978 with excellent marks. His senior thesis is believed to have dealt with defense or space-related communications systems, although specific details remain classified or undisclosed. Important connections: his Komsomol activity and academic record likely flagged him for recruitment into the KGB. Leningrad Mechanical Institute was a well-known feeder institution into both the Soviet military-industrial complex and the intelligence services. Sergey Naryshkin, KGB training and early intelligence career. After graduating, As an engineer in 1978, Sergey Naryshkin was immediately selected for Soviet intelligence training, a path reserved for those with top academic records, party loyalty, and fluency in foreign languages. KGB education, 1978 to 1982. 1. Moscow Higher School of the KGB Dzerzhinsky School. Years, 1978-1980. Specialty, Foreign Intelligence Language Focus. French trained under the first Chief Directorate, the branch responsible for foreign espionage. This institution, sometimes referred to as KGB School No. 1, was the elite training center for future spies and foreign operatives. KGB School 101, Yasenevo, also known as the SVR Academy today, focused on advanced tradecraft, clandestine communications, Ervelatrant, Crow of agents, abroad undercover, operational tactics. It was here he took on the operational alias Nomov. Training highlights highly specialized training in cryptography, psychological operations, diplomatic cover identities, counterintelligence defenses. French language focus positioned him for assignments in Western Europe or Africa, especially French-speaking countries. Connections at Yasenevo. Trained alongside Nikolai Tokarev, future Transneft CEO and longtime Putin ally. Lived near or on the same dormitory floor as Vladimir Putin, who was undergoing similar KGB training at the time. Their relationship began here, and it would resurface later in politics and state security. Early KGB career. Post-training. By early 1980s, Naryshkin had entered active service with the KGB's first Chief Directorate. Public records are limited, as is typical for former foreign intelligence officers, but it's known he served under diplomatic cover abroad. Was reportedly stationed in Belgium at the Soviet embassy in Brussels during the mid-1980s, possibly under a trade or science-attached title. Monitored NATO and European scientific military cooperation, typical for Soviet intelligence targets at the time. Belgian assignment, or move on to his post-KGB civil service and political rise in the 1990s. 2000 Sergey Naryshkin rise in federal government 2004 to 2016. After a lengthy but quiet career in Soviet Russian intelligence and civil service, Sergey Naryshkin began a rapid ascent through the federal government under Vladimir Putin. His path was characterized by loyalty, discretion, and technocratic skill traits highly valued in Putin's inner circle. Detailed career milestones. 2004, Deputy Chief of the Presidential Administration. Joined Putin's presidential administration in March 2004, handled economic and administrative matters. Also served as an intermediary between Kremlin and security services. This role cemented his position in Putin's trusted technocrats, a group of longtime associates with intelligence or St. Petersburg roots. 2007, Minister and Chief of Government Staff. In February 2007, appointed Minister and Chief of the Government Staff under Prime Minister Mikhail Fradkov, another intelligence-connected official, effectively operated as a Deputy Prime Minister in all but name, coordinating interministerial policy and federal agency activity. May 2008, Deputy Prime Minister, promoted to Deputy Prime Minister under PM Vladimir Putin after Medvedev became president, oversaw culture, education, science, and innovation, a portfolio that kept him close to the strategic agenda. Played a key role in shaping patriotic education in state cultural institutions. Participated in oversight of Rosatom Nuclear Agency and Rostec State Defense Industrial Conglomerate. December 2011, Speaker of the State Duma. After the 2011 parliamentary elections, Naryshkin was elected Chairman, Speaker of the State Duma. His speakership began in the context of mass protests over alleged election fraud, a politically sensitive period. Advocated for tighter control over media, foreign NGOs, and internet freedoms, all aligned with the Kremlin's evolving authoritarian tilt. Maintained a moderate tone publicly, but ensured legislative backing for Putin's agenda. Political standing, known for being personally loyal to Putin, yet low profile and diplomatically minded. Avoided political grandstanding, preferring to work behind the scenes. Often represented Russia abroad in diplomatic missions, especially in Europe, speaking fluent French and English. Heavily involved in rewriting Russian historical narratives. For example, World War II memory politics, Soviet legacy, sanctions. In March 2014. After Russia's annexation of Crimea, Naryshkin was sanctioned by the US, EU, and several Western governments.